Hey folks, welcome back to episode number 2 of 2 with Custom Sheds by Keith. We hope you enjoyed part 1. If you missed it, just go back and listen. It'll be the previous podcast. It would have come out on Wednesday. You're listening to the Thursday show now. Appreciate your dedication and allowing us long-winded folks to turn this into a 2-part series. It was a lot of fun talking to Keith down in the DFW area, and I thought he had a really good story, so I hope you enjoy. All right, so Keith, tell me a little bit about, we left off on talking about being charitable. You talked about the caboose and being able to take that to the Children's Hospital, and it seems like you've really got a heart for that sort of thing. So tell me a little bit about Dignity Park. We've talked a little bit about this, but I'd love for the guests, I'd love for the audience to hear more about this. And I'd really love for the DFW area to really hear about this. I feel like this is an awesome idea.
Well, Dignity Park is a vision that God put on my heart about 4 years ago.
Okay.
It's a proposed planned community for homeless. So what my vision is tiny homes. So like 12 by 20. There'll be 12 by 20. Fully furnished, finished out kitchen, bathroom, tiny homes. And if you did a full and again, I call it Dignity Park. It can be called whatever you want, but and so let's say that we did a Dignity Park with anywhere from 25 to 100 units. Have a community center in the middle of it that might have a small auditorium that could be used as a teaching center, as a sanctuary. Inside the community center can also have maybe small offices that counselors from the city or whomever can come and talk to people one-on-one, have computers in there. Maybe the other half of the community center can be a full kitchen, so everybody can come together and have a meal together. So that's big picture. That's Dignity Park.
So are you thinking permanent housing, temporary housing? What comes to mind?
So first off, let me preface that by saying I'm a builder. I'm not someone that could run a homeless facility. It would not do anybody any good for me to try to run this. But I know how to build, and I know how I want to build it. It would be, and so I would like to partner with a community, with a church, that as we build it, they run it. And but yes, to answer your question, it can be both. It could be permanent housing. It can be temporary housing while someone's getting on their feet. It can be whatever it needs to be.
Yeah.
Now but it's not just individuals that are homeless. It's also families. So we've also designed a 2-bedroom family tiny home as well. We've when we first started, or when God first gave me this vision, first thing I did was create a website for it, and we did renderings, dignitypark.com. We've also got a Facebook, Dignity Park. So we came up with renderings and what we thought would work well as far as a tiny home and a tiny community would go. But the thing is because of the customization, because of Custom Sheds by Keith, we can build it to blend into a neighborhood, the architecture of a neighborhood. So the renderings and stuff that you see on the website and the Facebook page, it's not that or nothing. That's just an idea.
For sure. Yeah. Makes a lot of sense. Hello, this is Identigrow. How can we help you?
Well, I was looking at getting some nameplates for my line of barns and wondered what options you got.
Well, that's simple. We've got full color aluminum sublimated ovals, coated black, Dura-Black, laser engraved custom plates, screen printed aluminum, die struck aluminum, and rectangles, rounded rectangles and ovals.
Is that everything?
No, sir. We've got bike plates, spot color or full color, tacker signs, 3D custom plates in black plastic, white plastic, custom plastic, 3D stock plates in rectangles and ovals, a neat little barn design, shields, and more.
Well, is that all?
No, sir. We've got 3D plastic in specialty sizes, mini 3D plastic, large 3D plastic, key fobs, soft plastic key fobs, 3D plastic key fobs, die-struck key fobs, full-color subliminated key fob.
Boy, I'm confused.
Well, we have many plates for different situations, taste, and pocketbooks, and we make it easy to find the one that is perfectly suited to your needs.
That sounds good. What info do you need to get started?
Identigrow, helping identify your shed brand for over 20 years. You said the Lord put this on your heart. You know, there is a responsibility that we have as we attain success, as we attain opportunity for ourselves. How do you combat I don't know. It's easy to get in your head and say, well, these folks should go out and work for themselves. They should go out and make it happen. How do you combat sort of like the naysayers?
Well, I haven't come across any naysayers.
Okay.
To tell you the truth.
Okay.
Or if they did, they didn't voice it to me.
Sure.
But yes, I'm sure there is. And, quite honestly, and I can say this, that, let's say 30 years ago when I was, younger, I had that thought, well, pull yourself up from your bootstraps and let's go take care of it. But as life goes on, I've realized that sometimes we need help.
Yeah.
And I know I need help sometimes.
Yeah.
And so that's where I'm coming from with that.
So I know that you would like to see partnership with other entities,
Right.
Local
Right.
communities that would get around an idea and support this. Have you looked into other cities that have done this?
Absolutely. There's there's lots of places that have done this, and let me say that this is not my idea. This is not a novel concept. Okay.
Gotcha.
I had seen it before, but until this idea touched me, I didn't really think about it. It was just God saying, "Hey, Keith, get off your butt and go do something.
Yeah.
This is what I want you to do."
That's right. Yeah. Faith without works is dead. You got to get up and do something, right?
That's
you got to,
right.
You got to make something happen.
But no, there's even Dallas. So Dallas has what they call City Park, and it's I believe they've got like 28 units, smaller units. They don't have full running water and all that. It's just basically just a small little 8x10 room, if you will.
Okay.
But I'm not putting down what anybody has done.
Sure.
They have done a phenomenal job of doing what they've done.
Yeah.
So let me tell you a little bit about what's happened down in, I believe it was Austin. A couple of years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, the city of Austin really cracked down on homeless. And we're going through and bulldozing encampments and things like that, and basically running the homeless out of the city. There's an organization that was called Loaves and Fishes, a nonprofit organization that would feed the homeless. Then, when all that started happening, they formed, and I can't remember the name of it now, but immediately they started getting donations of RVs and campers and things like that, and started building some tiny houses to start housing the homeless. And they've got a big master plan, and they keep adding and adding and adding to their facility. And so they've done it. There's places in Alaska that have done it, Oregon, Washington State. Yes, it's being done, but there's not enough.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
So what comes to mind for me is like whenever somebody hears tiny home, it's easy to watch like all the different TV programs that promote tiny home and talk about tiny home. There's even there's a tiny home festival every year. We wanted to make it last year to Colorado.
Oh, really?
We didn't get a chance to make it. I would love to get some booth space out there and eventually just go out there and be able to interview interview people who own tiny homes, interview people who build tiny homes.
Yeah.
The beautiful thing about the shed industry is you kind of serve two purposes. You can build a structure for surplus, right? Storage,
right.
but then you can also build a structure for minimalistic.
Right.
And so those who want to downsize. So we really get to capture both sides of the market. And thinking about even like what you do here with Big Blue, right? Like being able to pull this around. A lot of times people will see a tiny home and they'll say, well, it's really just a smaller home, but the price per square foot is similar to that of a larger home. But I think what you're talking about is not, not top of the line amenities.
Right. No, absolutely not.
But something that creates shelter and
comfort.
And just the name itself, something that is dignified.
Right.
Something that can allow you to have dignity, something that can allow you to, as a person, regardless of why you're homeless and trying to be the one to come in and say, hey, I want to fix everything. And, and I want to analyze all the areas that got you in this situation. We want to allow you to have dignity with shelter, which is a basic need. So, all right, perfect. So yeah, you're allowing somebody to just have dignity, and you've got this cool little book here. Like, I definitely want people to see this, and maybe we can take a couple screenshots of it.
And you can download this off of dignitypark.com.
Perfect. There we go. Just go check it out. You guys should go look at it because I think it's an awesome effort. So dignity, the state or quality of being worthy of honor or respect, a sense of pride in oneself, self-respect. Park, an area devoted to a specific purpose, an area of land having facilities for rest and recreation. And then you've spelled out community here, a feeling of fellowship with others as a result of sharing common attitudes, interests, and goals. Really what we're doing here today, building community.
Right.
Having common interests and goals, whether it be through sheds, podcasting, or ministry, kind of what we're trying to establish. And what I feel like you're bringing to the table there is you're saying, hey, I'm not trying to be the counselor. I'm not trying to be the minister. I'm not trying to be the community leader, but I am trying to use my expertise, my knowledge, and the gifts that God's given me to sort of serve this aspect of it.
Right.
Well, is that accurate?
That's and to whom much is given, much is required.
Yeah.
And so I've been given so much that I'm required. I feel like I'm required to do this. I want to do this, but at the same time, I must give back to this.
At one point, I had gotten the URL Shed Geek Care, and I thought, man, there's got to be a way that we can like tithe towards a process of helping people in the community whenever opportunities like this come up. We just interviewed some lovely ladies down in Angus, and they sell sheds, and just a simple idea of being a single mother and understanding how hard it is to kind of do something as simple as just getting a Christmas tree while you're, and they said, hey, we want to give away a Christmas tree. And they created a situation where people could nominate. And I just told them, I said, hey, I want to nominate, or not nominate, but at least donate.
Right.
I want to, fund a Christmas tree this year, because I feel like it's great whenever we can do this. I feel like what it does is it sets us apart in the shed industry. That regardless if we compete or not, we sort of, whenever people think of a shed or a shed dealer, shed manufacturer, something positive comes to mind for them.
Absolutely. Not just the shed community, any community, a community of plumbers, community of electricians.
Right. Absolutely.
But coming together for a common goal is what we need to do.
Man, you've went really through this with the pamphlet here that you've created.
Well, I appreciate it.
And
again, I'm into over information.
No, but this is good.
And I've got a second PDF online also that breaks down pricing.
So
Dignity Park.
Texas rates 4th in the United States for the highest population of homeless.
Correct.
Texas homeless population approximately 27,487, and then the DFW area 6,597.
So that's actually, I believe that's 2-year-old data.
Okay.
I believe we're up to about 8,000 now.
I can't speak on homelessness It was not a ministry that God had called to my heart. Not that it's not obviously a worthy cause. Prison ministry was something he'd put on my heart heavy at one point, and I really got heavy into the data. So when you think of it's easy to just lock them up and throw away the key. Hello, shed sellers. Let's take a moment to discuss the shed customer and meeting their expectations. I remember growing up in the neighborhood where a certain percentage of the houses had well-manicured lawns and well-manicured homes. These were the type of individuals who felt it was important to purchase a well-constructed home or vehicle, or maybe equipment to help maintain the quality of the item. As shed manufacturers, we seek to provide a well-built quality shed. We want the customer to feel satisfied that their hard-earned money has been well spent on a product that will last. At LuxGuard, we believe adding high-quality rubber flooring to your line of sheds makes sense to the customer and adds value the customer can appreciate. With each year, sheds are becoming more complex. The customizations we are seeing are virtually endless. LuxGuard not only gives a complimentary aesthetic appearance for their shed, but also protects the floor from spills and keeps cleanup simple. Offer your customer the customer service they seek with LuxGuard. At LuxGuard, we are committed to delivering exceptional customer service and innovative products to help our customers achieve their goals. We strive to meet the evolving needs of the customers. To speak with one of our ready-to-serve customer product specialists, simply call 336-468-4311. To see our product and view an installation video, just visit our website at luxguard.com. LuxGuard, the floor that lasts a lifetime. So yeah, I had looked at the data. I was really heavy at looking at the data and realized, yes, lock them up, throw away the key. I get the mentality, but we house 25% of the world's prison population in America, and I've been called all the things. Well,
America is number one in incarcerations.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of its citizens.
I've been called all the things: hug a thug, bleeding heart, liberal, you name them. It doesn't matter what it is. And I feel like I've experienced, what I tell people is I've experienced agape love. And agape love is love beyond measure. It's love beyond understanding. When we put our own human brain and mindset to this, and we say, well, it just doesn't make sense to love someone beyond that. And I've experienced that. I feel like I've experienced that at the foot of the cross through the love of Christ. And I believe that, like 80% of those are nonviolent criminals. So I'm a big fan of rehabilitation over retribution. And I just think that if that makes me look like a hug a thug or whatever people want to call me, I'm okay with that, because there is 2/3 of the New Testament Bible written from a prison.
Right.
And, so that was a passion for me. And I began to find in my research, Keith, that addiction was a large part of the criminal enterprise.
Right.
And I would just assume that addiction plays such a huge role in homelessness.
Well, there's a lot of factors. There's a lot of different reasons for homelessness. If you want to talk about statistics, I'll tell you about two things. One, there's a wonderful facility in Oklahoma City called Pivot, and what they do is they actually prevent homelessness.
Okay.
They house and help children that are aging out of the foster system. So they age out of the foster system, they have no place to go. And so Pivot captures those children. And they don't just deal with those children, but they also have a youth center, for I think ages 8 and up, a safe place for them to go. They also have 20 tiny homes. So whenever people are aging out of the foster system and graduating from high school, they don't have any place to go. So they put them in a tiny house and they teach them how to live. They have to have a job, they have to pay rent, but $50, whatever. They have to contribute 10 hours to Pivot, helping do things. But it teaches them how to live.
Yeah.
It teaches them the things that you and I learned how to do through our parents.
Yeah.
The other statistic is college students. There is a uncounted population of college students that are homeless.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a dorm. They live in their car at night, or they sofa surf friends' couches. During the day, they're at class, or they spend the day at the library. The one thing they do have is a gym membership, so that they can take a shower and clean up. And they live in their car.
Yeah, it's not, a lot of times it's not as in your face.
It's exact, and that's what. Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, homelessness is not just the guy on the corner asking for change.
We found that, I feel like we identify in a similar ministry. And the reason I bring addiction up is mainly because I feel like it's a problem in our country. And I believe that it oftentimes is the root source. Addiction itself not being the grassroots problem,
Right.
and the causation. And in working in faith-based drug and alcohol rehabilitation for a year, I found this to be true, that it wasn't always addiction as it was more trauma
Right.
that was experienced. And I know that to be the case with addiction, oftentimes leading into prison and homelessness. Everyone can say, but there's always that one homeless guy that always took advantage of something that they remember. There's that one addict. There's that one person who went to prison who just always lived that life.
Well,
And that's true, but that does not serve as a standard for
Right.
everyone.
exactly.
I think that your heart shows through in the process and what the point that you're trying to get across. And let's just be clear, this is not just about business.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
This is about giving back and helping others.
Yeah.
Yes, business is involved in it, but and I want to be perfectly clear on that. This is partially business.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
but the motivator behind it is not business.
Well, everybody uses their expertise to help, even in church. If you're a sound guy, it's easy to become
Right.
the sound guy. If you have a spirit of motherhood, it's oftentimes used in the nursery,
Right.
or whatever. It's just, if you can do construction, you usually get questions
Right.
about construction. That's just typically
Set building.
Yeah, absolutely.
For the
It's-
Christmas show.
Yeah, that's right. And it's almost kind of expected,
Right.
almost really, because it just
By the
sort
way,
of.
Keith, we'll see you here on Sunday to build the manger for
Don't
us.
forget to bring your tools.
That's right. Talking about statistics, so a single homeless person costs the city, county, government, whatever, approximately $40,000 a year.
Yeah.
An unhoused person.
Yeah.
If we were to take that same person and put them in a tiny home, then they would only cost the system $20,000. Now that other $20,000, why does it cost half as much? Well, every time the police have to get called out for someone sleeping in the wrong place, being homeless, you're out in the elements, so you're going to get sick more often,
Healthcare.
and you're going to go to the healthcare, so you're going to be going to the hospital. All of these factors make up that other $20,000. Whereas if we were to put that person into a tiny home, they're only going to cost the system $20,000 if they don't do anything, if they don't get a job, if they don't do anything. The cost of a single tiny home is approximately $60,000. So we've built a tiny home for $60,000. It's going to pay for itself in 3 years and help people for decades. So
Seems like a no-brainer.
it seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah. Well, same with prison. 600,000 men and women get released from prison every year in America, and those people go to your markets, they go to your churches,
Right.
they go to your restaurants, and I'll tell you what, a lot of them, are looking for jobs, and whenever they can't find jobs, that leads to that homeless
Right.
population. Hey, Deanna, I need to write a new ad for Shed Hub. Give me some ideas.
Why don't you do something catchy like the insurance commercials do all the time, where they just repeat the same thing over and over?
Like a little jingle or something like that.
Yeah,
But wouldn't that be embarrassing?
that is kind of the point.
What type of music?
Try rap.
Shed Hub helps you sell sheds.
Maybe country.
Shed Hub helps you sell sheds.
Rock and roll?
Shed Hub helps you sell sheds.
Maybe just go back to your normal writing style.
Shed Geek and Shed Hub are now collaborating to make for a better customer experience. I want to save you some money. Shed Hub is focused on signing up the next 500 customers. We're calling it the Next 500 Plan.
Real creative.
You think it'll help if I sing again?
I'd rather you not.
Well, that makes two of us.
So what's the next 500 plan?
The Next 500 Plan is simple. This will include 100 listings per month, per location, along with the Brand Builder website. And the plan will last for 1 full year.
But how do they save money?
It only costs $39 a month. There's never been a better time to sign up. Just go to geek.shedhub.com, click subscribe, enter your name, email, and payment information, and you will be contacted by a Shed Hub employee to get you onboarded for just $39 per month. Shed Hub helps you sell shit. I don't want to tell his story. I hate to call him out like this, but he's told his story before, so I don't mind. I mean, one of the greatest testimonies that that I see is my marketing partner, Dylan. And you may not know Dylan, but for those that do, you know, I mean, he raised in a good home and, you know, went down a reckless road, and he admits that. And it wasn't until he had lost everything and got kicked out of a faith-based drug and alcohol rehabilitation. He was sitting outside of McDonald's, and he tells the story. He was getting ready to smoke a cigarette, and he said, "I just realized that, like, if I smoked that cigarette, that everything was coming back with it. Not because it was a cigarette. The cigarette wasn't, you know, his addiction. Right. It was that it led down a lifestyle choice for him to just start to do that again. So it wasn't inherently the cigarette, just to be clear. It was more the mentality. And, you know, this guy went out and you know, God changed his life, and he just got on fire for the Lord and for his family, and God restored his family. And, he's a very successful guy in our, community now, sits on many boards, sits on, just different financial boards. I think he sits on like our local mental health board, a couple different things. He's just a force in the community. And I remember whenever he was starting, he had a job logging, because a lot of times that's the only job you can get.
Sure.
As a felon, you can't get, you know,
right.
People won't believe in you. And he said, I realized I'm going to have to go out and make myself valuable.
Right.
And it actually led to part of his success. So like where we look at like his downfall being the only thing that we can remember him by, man, look at the comeback story.
Right.
Because he went and bought a camera from a pawn shop, and he taught himself how to be a videographer. Next thing you know, he's learning how to do cinema and photo, and he's doing weddings. Wow. And he becomes the biggest booked wedding guy in our area. Next thing you know, he's having to build websites and different things because people are encouraging him to do other things, or they're needing more services.
Wow.
He starts looking at that, and he's running a full-on marketing agency. And I remember just giving him a little bit of space in our shed that we were selling sheds out of at our shed lot.
Right.
And he was getting started, and he was a little bit worried to make the leap, and not worried, but, you know, I mean, of course you're going to worry naturally. Right. You got a family, and this dude's just killing it. He's went and done such amazing things. Now he's an inspiration to many, and tells his story. And that just goes to show that, you know, God's not done with you.
No. and you know, and that just proves the point that, you know, I know in my life I've made a lot of stupid decisions.
Oh, me too.
But the difference is, just speaking for myself, you know, the reason I didn't end up down the path of homelessness or anything like that was because, you know, I had a family, a network of people to right. say, hey, Keith, you're being stupid, stop. Yeah. Where a lot of people don't have a network of people to help them.
Yeah.
And so, nor do a lot of people know where to get help.
But we all deserve the basic
absolutely
needs to be met. And you've really turned it around here by showing some not just thought, but statistics that say this actually makes more sense financially.
Yeah.
So even if we fuel the idea of like they should go do it themselves, this is costing you less
Right.
in taxes or whatever it is currently. You know what I mean? Because we're spending that much anyway. So it's not just the right thing to do; it's the more more
right.
economical, responsible thing to do as well.
So I've actually taken meetings. I've been able to speak with the director of housing who handles the homeless in Fort Worth.
Okay.
I've talked to the director of the Tarrant County Homeless Coalition, and basically what it boils down to is money.
Yeah.
Money and a lot of times land. There's so many, and I'm not saying that a Dignity Park style solution is the only solution.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we have to have lots of solutions in order to work the problem. Okay,
Correct.
We need the night shelters.
Yeah.
We need the day shelters. We need it all. Okay, but all the money, and I'm generalizing here, so please don't come down on me for this, but the money's allocated for all these other projects, and I feel like there's not room for these new projects coming in, and so basically it boils down to money.
Yeah.
Let's talk about 100-unit Dignity Park. So 100 units, the community center, basketball court and things like that. $10 million, okay, would be about what it would cost to build that. And so, yeah,
it's there. Now we know.
Now we know.
Well, I certainly hope.
Please make checks payable to Custom Sheds.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah, it's that simple. But I do hope that you find funding for this project. I would love to see these projects, if they're not already happening, or find a way to connect you with others or become connected with others so that we can serve through these opportunities, these ministries, to be able to give back through our resources that we've been given, the information we've been given, the talents we've been given, whatever it looks like to be able to give back. I think that's ultimately the message, that we're trying to portray also here at the podcast is this. It's not always just a talk about sheds, but it's funny how the shed kind of becomes the common denominator in these different adventures,
right.
like being able to end up in DFW. I'd love to find out other adventures out there like this that exist. And I don't know that we can give to all, but I know that we can give our time, our talents, and our efforts to all. And I think that those who are inspired by it, not just around the country, listen to the Shed Geek podcast, but even those who are inspired by this message in the DFW area, as you begin to grow your own network and try to move this thing forward, I just hope it succeeds. And I hope that the amount of resources become available that prove that even a small thought can turn into a really, really large opportunity to help people.
I appreciate it. And like we were saying in the last episode, I need everybody's idea. When it comes to building sheds, we've taken on so many ideas from all my different carpenters. Like I said, I don't know how to run a homeless facility. I know how to build.
Yeah.
So I need those experts who can point me in the right direction of how do I get money? Who is the right person to talk to? How do we get through to the cities? Because it's not just Dallas-Fort Worth.
Yeah.
I mean, it's every single city in Texas, every single city in the United States.
Yeah.
Some worse than others.
Right.
But it's not.
But there's a
going away.
need.
There's a. I mean, what do we say? We had 500,000 homeless people in the United States.
Yeah.
That's 500,000 too many.
Well, maybe you inspire, those who are also in the shed industry, who can provide their talents and services like this, like we're talking about, and create something that goes way beyond.
Do it in your community.
Yeah, do it in your community. That's right.
Build a Dignity Park. Again, doesn't have to be Dignity Park, but build this concept in your community to help those people off the streets.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just give them a chance. That's all any of us. I feel like all any of us want is just a chance.
Everything you're doing, everything that I've seen from the transition that you had in advertising into the shed world, the shed space, building Big Blue, creating this mobile unit that you can take around and show to people, and then to your heart for the homeless and the what's been put on your heart. I think it's awesome.
Oh, I appreciate it.
I think you're just an awesome guy all the way around. It's a pleasure to have met you and to get to know you. And I'm wishing you nothing but success in all your endeavors.
Man, I appreciate it. I appreciate it very much. Again, I'm just a vessel, to do what God tells me to do.
That's right. That's right. But you're doing a good job. All hearts clear before we get out of here today. Anything else that you want to add? Anything else you want to say to the listeners today?
No, just I appreciate the opportunity to be on here and talk to you. If you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, shedsbykeith.com. Come to my Facebook page, Sheds by Keith. Even if I don't build you a shed, at least come take a look around and let me get you a quote.
Even those in the industry outside of DFW, if they wanted to reach out to
Absolutely. They can reach out to me. I love to collaborate with others. If you've got a customer that wants to build something down here, or if I have a customer that wants to build something in your area, collaborate. Yeah, absolutely.
How cool would it be to see like a podcast and somebody sort of doing the same thing that you're doing in DFW and in Houston, and then in Philly, and then in Washington, and
absolutely. I mean, let's and that's the thing. Again, the need is not just in Dallas-Fort Worth. I mean, if somebody else has the same vision that I do, who's in another state or whatever, let's talk about it. Let's compare ideas and just make it happen.
Man, I think it's great. I love what you do, and I've enjoyed my time here today. I want to pray over it, if that's okay.
Please.
Before we get out of here today. It's I love what you do. I love Big Blue, man. People have got to go check it out.
Thanks a lot.
We'll make sure to put a link in our newsletter that goes out every Wednesday and Thursday to the episode. We'll put a link to your website as well, where people can go and they can see your adventure. Maybe they can follow you on YouTube or wherever it is that you are.
I need 50 followers on YouTube so that I can go live straight from YouTube.
Yeah, there you go. Well,
so I need 50 people. Please subscribe. There's nothing there yet, but there will be, I promise.
We will subscribe ourselves. So
I got one.
You. Yeah, that's right.
Yay.
Well, yeah, we'll all three of us will jump on there. So we'll at least start you out. We'll get you a jump start. Let us pray. Lord, thank you for this day, the opportunity to just meet with like-minded folks who are about your work. I'm thankful for Keith and getting to know him as a friend and also as a fellow believer. I would ask that you would bless all of his endeavors as his heart is kind to listen to what you've set forward in his path, that you would help him see it through, and that the resources would just come abundantly towards this goal to help others, which is the call ultimately for us, is to know you. And we do that by knowing others and helping others in our actions, Lord, and not just in our words. So I would ask that you would bless this endeavor, let it move forward, and let it just reach other people. Let it go on to tell about ministries that were created because of its creation. Just ask that you'd bless it, all of his endeavors, all the listeners today in the DFW area and around the nation. Bless the shed industry as we move forward in trying to promote your kingdom first, and then our business is second. Thank you, Lord, in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Hey, this is Mo Lunsford in sunny Union Grove, North Carolina, and we want to say thank you to all the guests and listeners.